how cravings, mood, and stress are all related to the gut-brain connection. I'm Deirdre McLean. I'm a wife, a mom of 2 grown kids. Well, one's almost grown and one just graduated college. I'm a retired attorney and a wellness partner with the Mental Wellness Company.
Yeah, and my name is Bethany Anderson, and I am a wife, a mom of 2, a senior in high school, so that's got its own little twist right now, and a junior in high school. My husband's a chiropractor, and my background is in exercise kinesiology with the nutrition focus. I have a history as a weight loss coach and practice owner, and I am also aligned with the Mental Wellness Company.
Awesome. So as we said, we are not medical doctors. So here's our disclaimer. We're not here to cure anything. We're just here to educate. And today's topic is all about cravings and stress resilience and optimizing mood. So here's what we are going to talk about today. We're going to talk about cravings, the impact of stress on our physical, mental, and emotional health, the science of gut health and how it relates to our stress, mood, and cravings, and tools we can use to help control those cravings.
Yeah, we definitely want to be making an impact today. So as we look at where we're at, do those pictures look familiar to you with all the stay-at-home type time frame right now? We're doing a lot of DoorDash, picking up curbside. And, you know, on a good side, we're also sharing a lot of family recipes and family cooking time, making some meals that we might not do all the time, which is really valuable, but might not serve our health quite as well as we would like.
Yep, absolutely. I know that we've been doing some more baking, and you know, it feels good and it's a good activity, but it's just not sitting well with me.
I think it's just the proportion is the problem.
Exactly. So how are stress, mood, and cravings connected? The answer is found in our gut, the forgotten organ. Now, Bethany, when we were talking earlier, you told me about an article that you just read. Will you share that with us?
Yeah, this is actually a fantastic article. It's really, really straightforward, really simple. I believe it's from Psychology Today, believe it or not. I'd have to look at the reference on it. But it says a few things that are really important. It says gut microbes are not our friend. And we're going to discuss what those microbes are in just a minute. But it also talks about when we're looking at cravings, that the gut bacteria that we have drives what our cravings are. So it says each of these microbes that are not our friends have their own preferred fuel source. Yeast crave sugar, Bacteroidetes enjoy fat, Prevotella love carbs, and Bifidobacteria actually like fiber as their preferred fuel source. Sorry, that was a tongue twister. It also talks about how microbes can produce toxins that will actually make us not feel well if we don't give them the food that they're asking for. So not only do we have this craving, but when we don't give into that craving, a lot of times it makes us not feel well, which I think is pretty powerful. Also, I know it's amazing, right? And then it also says that microbes will increase our cravings for food by changing our taste buds and then giving us a little bit of a dopamine hit when we feed them. So it's kind of like a little reward system that they're giving us. Couple other points that I thought were really interesting is that we need to manage our microbes before they make us sick. And it's important not just for our gut health, but also our mood and also our cravings. It very specifically brings that in. And then I love this part. It says you can effectively rebuild your microbiota, which we're going to talk about in a minute. In just a few days, you can make a significant change. Which I love, but then it says it also goes back both ways. So if you go and you eat a bag of Oreos after you've been eating really, really clean for a week, you're also kind of backtracking pretty significantly. But I love the fact that we can make a significant improvement very quickly with what we're eating.
Yep, and we're going to actually talk more about that at the end.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so what is the microbiome? The microbiome is an ecological community of trillions of bacteria living in our body. The microbiome communicates with the brain to regulate hormones, weight, immune system function, digestion, mood, and overall mental and physical wellness. And it impacts virtually every physiological process in the body. So what we put into our bodies really affects the microbiome, which in turn affects our mind and other crucial bodily systems. So this is really important.
It is really important. And you know what? It is the newest area of medical research right now. It is the hottest topic. It's an area that companies, both nutritionally as well as pharmaceutical, are looking into and developing either drugs or products that are actually based on this new science, which I think is just amazing.
It is amazing. So the gut is actually considered our second brain, and it's an integral part of a three-part system. The two brains communicate through a multi-directional network known as the gut-brain axis or the gut-brain connection.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting to me about that as kind of a science person is that cell, when it divides gestationally, there's a cell and it goes into two parts, right? One part goes and makes the gut, and the other part goes and makes the brain. Now, what that tells me is that those cells should be working together, and they actually communicate and complete a job well done based on this bidirectional highway called the axis, or the connection in between those two systems.
That is a great way to look at it.
So why is this gut-brain connection or this gut-brain axis so important? And we're talking about cravings today, and so we really want to hit that, but I don't want to limit its impact to that. I want you to understand that it's also very impactful for our stress levels and how we manage our stress, as well as our moods. And the brain affects the gut, and the gut affects the brain. So those two systems being able to communicate and remain in balance is really important. One fact that I think is so important, especially as we're talking about mood, is that 60 to 90% of those neurotransmitters that help us with our mood are actually made in our gut. And the reason why we have that variance in percentages is based on which neurotransmitter we're talking about. But specifically, serotonin, dopamine, and GABA are the three that we're talking about. And those are the ones that really help us with our mood the most.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so interesting if you look at it this way. You know, we know that chronic stress can increase our appetite and cravings for comfort foods. You know, we know that we get stressed or we have an emotional thing and we either don't eat, we suppress it short term, or it causes an increase in appetite and cravings.
And I don't know if anybody else is like me, but food is my comforter when I'm, you know, mad, glad, sad, whatever. It's also the way that we celebrate. And I'm telling you that when I do that, I don't a lot of times say, oh my gosh, I had the most fantastic day in the world. Let me go have a salad. That's not typically my choice.
Yeah. Yet, like I've never spoken to anyone that ever really feels bad after eating an apple. They don't feel good after eating an apple. So, you know, it goes both ways. And the gut cells, including the microbiome bacteria, send signals to the brain via nerve and hormones to indicate hunger and fullness. So it really comes down to what kind of bacteria do you have in there and what kind of signals are being sent.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting when you get into the details of it.
Yep. So what causes the gut imbalance?
You know, basically it's our lifestyle, right? I mean, I don't need to hit this. I think the pictures are very self-explanatory, but it is a lot of just how we live our life, everything from our sleep to our stress to the foods that we're feeding on our grab-and-go lifestyles, either a history of antibiotics or drugs that we've taken or what we're currently doing to manage conditions, the amount of sugar that we're eating, and then we also have a genetic predisposition in particular ways. So it's a pretty wide scope, and the one thing I will tell you is this, that if you have not taken steps to balance your gut in this very specific way, I can guarantee you that your gut is out of balance. I mean, it's just the way it works because the way that we eat and our lifestyles don't allow for this to happen naturally. We need to take steps.
Absolutely.
All right, so it goes further behind cravings, guys. I want to honor the concept of cravings, but I also want you to understand that how this microbiome working is also overflowing into so many different areas. So we're talking about our sleep quality, depression, our mood state with anxiety, energy, tension, some more medical diagnosed things like high blood pressure, cardiovascular disorders, chronic inflammation and pain. You know, a lot of these things that people are dealing with regularly can be linked back to what's happening in the microbiome. And a lot of these are also going to affect how we're managing our cravings or how we're responding to food. Immune response, a huge thing right now. We definitely want to be working in that direction.
Absolutely. So what can we do to control our cravings? We can manage external stressors.
Yeah, I think we have to look at what we can control and be mindful about the things we're saying yes to, the things we're saying no to. Sometimes take a step back, and I love to just breathe. And right now, as the weather's changing, getting outside, taking some deep breaths, especially as we're wearing masks all the time, to get some full oxygen into our system is really important.
Yep, mindfulness and exercise, all that, so important.
Yeah.
We can also lower our cortisol levels because cortisol overexposure will suppress the immune function and affect mood.
Yeah, cortisol is actually a bully hormone. I think I've said that before, but when cortisol is at a high level, we need cortisol. It's our stress response for those immediate issues. But when we have a chronically high level of cortisol, we're actually shutting down most of the maintenance and the preventative health processes that happen in the system. So it's really important that we look at that management of cortisol as a key part of your overall wellness.
Exactly. And sleep. We need to make sleep a priority.
Yeah, this is an area that I think we all take shortcuts, don't you, Deirdre? I mean, I always find that I'm up late and up early trying to, that bookend of sleep gets shorter and shorter.
Exactly.
But it's really important because that's when our body's healing and kind of taking out the trash or cleaning up the damage from the day. It's important.
Yeah. I was a chronic insomniac for many years, and I've overcome that. However, I don't always get to bed early enough or sleep late enough to get the requisite number of hours. So sleep is really, it's a priority.
Yeah, it needs to be.
And the next thing we can do is meet or exceed essential nutrient needs, vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, amino acids, fibers, water, antioxidants, and also eat wisely, more high fiber whole foods, gut friendly foods, and reduce sugar consumption and processed foods.
Yeah, those are all really key steps. And I think from my personal vantage point with the patients that I see in the office and the recommendations that we make, I find a lot of people are eating healthy and they're trying to make good choices. And they still are in a place where they're deficient. And so I really want to stress it's important to make those good food choices, but it's also equally important to choose supplementation that further builds into that need of your body, because we just don't eat diversely enough, and our foods are just not nutrient rich enough right now that we can meet that need, I believe, without supplementation.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, and then we also, the biggest thing I think is that gut health, because the gut health is not only about our cravings and that type of thing, but it's huge with our absorption. So we want to make sure that all those levels in our system for our mood, for our stress, for our cravings are being responded to, but we also want to make sure that we're absorbing correctly.
Absolutely. And if you notice on here that sugar is 1%, that is a very small percentage of what we should be consuming. And that's really important.
Yeah, do you remember in that article when we talked about the bacteria that it's craving certain things, and yeast is that bacteria that's really looking for that sugar, and yeast is very damaging within the system when it's out of control. I know even being aware of that, I still consume too much sugar. It's just easy. It kind of fills in those foods real easily.
Me too. And the bifidobacterium likes the fibers, and that's the 50% of fruit and vegetables. And we'll talk a little bit more later about the bifidobacterium. But yeah, it all is absolutely related.
Let's give them the number one tool. Are you ready?
Yes.
This is where I get excited.
I know.
After like 15 years in my office of making recommendations, the fact that we have something that is simple and effective is hands down the favorite thing that I get to do with people, is actually help them make a difference in their wellness. And one of the main things that we do is this fundamentals pack, right, Deirdre?
Yep. So we always recommend starting with the foundation, our fundamentals pack.
It is the world's first comprehensive holistic gut-brain access system, which I think is really important, because you're going to find products for the gut, products for the brain, and maybe even something for that system in between. But to have them working together synergistically is really, really important. One of the products in this 3-product system is actually Mentabiotics. This is our probiotic that is working very specifically on your gut health. We've chosen the strains very, very carefully. So we have probiotics, prebiotics, and phytobiotics in it, with very specific goals with those ingredients that are powerful.
All right. So with probiotics, the strain absolutely matters.
It does.
So there is a probiotic strain that reduces stress by lowering cortisol exposure and improving GABA neurotransmission. There's another probiotic strain that enhances calmness by decreasing anxiety and improving cognitive function. And there's another one that improves mood by decreasing neuroinflammation and increasing serotonin. So I'm going to have, since Bethany is really experienced in the probiotics, selling them in her office, I'm going to have her explain what is so remarkable about these probiotics.
Yeah, I would love to. So I have made recommendations again for quite a number of years with probiotics. And my previous stance or my previous protocol would be I'd always look at the number of CFUs or colony forming units, and I would also look at the number of strains. And more was always better. Here's 30 billion CFUs, and I got 22 strains and that type of thing. But now with this new science, remember how we talked about this cutting edge science? They are actually able to take those individual probiotic strains and take them all the way down. And these little numbers and letters at the end are actually the strain identifier, and take that strain and actually match it to a very specific outcome that you're looking for in the body. So she said, now we have a strain in here that is about stress. We have another one that's about anxiety and cognition, and one that's for mood. We also might have something for digestive. It's just amazing that we can kind of identify that. But this is where it's different, all right? And I want you to listen to this. It's very important. The companies who are embracing this science are going to go to the ends of the world to make sure that you know that it's strain level and about what that probiotic is for. There are a lot of companies, most companies, I have to say, that are not on board with that yet. So when you're looking at your probiotics, I really want you to be looking all the way down to that strain level, which again is the numbers and letters, that very last category on there. Very, very important.
Yep, it is. VitaGBX, right. Yes, take it away.
I love this. All right, so this product, I think for me, I had a lot of brain fog, some cognitive issues after an injury, and this mental focus is phenomenal. It's great for clarity, cognition, making me feel like I'm dialed in, helps me with my memory, my attention and alertness. It kind of helps me just be on point. And I love it also because it's going to help me manage my stress resiliency in those times when I really need to be on point. So I love this particular product. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I do too.
Yep. It's good stuff.
And Sync.
Yeah, this is another one of my favorites. Do you know how we talked earlier before about the gut-brain connection, and we had these 3 partners? So the axis in between, or the connection, is sometimes, I don't think it's given enough credit, honestly. What about you, Deirdre? It's kind of like left out a lot of times, right?
It's left out a lot. It's, people
it's not just the gut,
and they don't think about how it all works synergistically together.
Yeah, the 3 parts together are so very, very important. And the sync portion, or the axis portion, is really important for your vagus nerve, your immune function, which is huge right now, as well as the hormone and neurotransmitter balancing that's happening within the system. So we got the gut making it, we got the brain directing it, and this system is actually where it goes to work, which is really important, and how we get the benefits.
Yep. And we even sometimes double up on this product when we're under a little more stress, and we want to just make sure that our immune function is working properly.
Yeah, I specifically recommend it with immune, and also with immune just boosting or priming that system, as well as people who are autoimmune. It might be something where they benefit by taking an extra dose of Sync.
Absolutely. And actually, going back to extra dosing, the mental focus, if someone has a brain injury, an extra dose of mental focus is
awesome. It can certainly help without question.
Yep.
It can certainly help.
Science, this pack has been clinically proven to increase the good bacteria in the gut. So that is so important, because we already talked about the different bacteria craving different things, that one will crave sugar, and the bifidobacterium will crave the fibers. And this study showed a 30% increase in bifidobacterium in 30 days. And that is really, really impressive.
Yeah.
And the results is they showed, these people showed lower tension, lower depression, lower anger, lower fatigue, lower confusion, and increased vigor.
Yeah, and the thing that's amazing about this is that this result is actually found in 30 days with a normally stressed person. So if you have an illness or you have kind of a loaded bag, if you will, it might take a little bit longer, but we're still going to be making those improvements. But for the generally stressed person to have this level of improvement in such a diverse number of categories is remarkable.
It is remarkable.
All right, so here we go. Let's talk about the families of products within this particular line. Our first, as we've talked about before, is the fundamentals. This is our flagship product. It is based on the gut-brain connection, and which I believe is just the foundation to affecting pretty much everything else that's going in your system. We also have a family of products called the Menta Therapeutics. And actually, these products are so great together. We actually have a special pack with these called the Mental Fitness Pack, which is amazing. And it's addressing mood and sleep and energy and your inflammation with the product called Relief, which is turmeric and boswellia, which is pretty powerful. We also have a product line called Menta Essentials, which kind of builds in those additional nutrients that we need to kind of further supplement or fill the gaps within our diet. And that includes like a multivitamin, an omega-3, another strain of probiotics for people who have more digestive issues. So there's a lot of things that we can do with that. And as we go even further, we got to realize that our kids also have a gut, our kids also have a brain, and our kids also need to have the balancing within those systems, both with nutrition as a multivitamin, a mood product, and then this gut.
My favorite products.
Mm-hmm. The whole world needs mood, Deirdre.
The whole world needs mood.
The whole world needs mood.
And it supports the natural production of serotonin and dopamine.
Yeah.
And what makes it so different? What makes it different is that it's a comprehensive herbal blend. And it includes an herb that is for depression, another one that's for stress resilience, a third for tension, and a fourth for anxiety. And it's just the complete package in one product.
Yeah, I love this. I really, when I'm sharing the information about this, I call it a cortisol modulator. So it really is very specifically going to be helping us with that stress level, with that cortisol. And that's going to in turn help us with our depression, our stress resilience, our tension, our anxiety, all those things kind of roll together when we modulate our cortisol correctly.
Absolutely. One of my favorites.
Yeah, definitely.
Energy is also a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about it is that it's not your typical energy drink that kind of ramps you up. It's a 3-tiered energy product, and it gives you physical energy. And that includes motivation. And it gives you mental energy, such as focus, and even mental awareness, such as like connectedness and engagement. So I absolutely love that about this product.
Yeah, I think in the afternoons, a lot of us kind of struggle, at least I know do. So I've already got mine right here. It helps me just kind of get dialed in. It has an herb in it called Guayusa. I'm not sure if I say that correctly, but let's say that I am. And that's actually an herb that they use in Africa for hunting nocturnally. And it just increases your awareness and kind of your ability to center in. And I love it. So you do get a little bit of a physical lift, but it also really helps with that cognitive piece. And what I know for myself is that when I'm not cognitively as fatigued, I'm not physically as fatigued, and it's a great way to show up in the afternoon. You can drink it hot, you can drink it cold. Some people use it for a coffee replacement, but I usually have mine. I usually open it up about, around 11 or 12 here Colorado time, and I sip on it through the afternoon.
Yep, and my teenager fills up her water bottle. She uses it during school during the day, yep, and then makes a fresh one when it's time to sit down and do her homework, and it really grounds her and gives her the ability to really focus.
Yeah, without question. It's a good one. I love it.
It's a good one.
And it's different. It's different. It doesn't make you fried.
And then sleep. So this is not a melatonin product. We have a worldwide exclusive patented corn grass extract. And what it does is it improves serotonin signaling, which is important for a couple of reasons. It helps with anxiety and depression. It also improves melatonin signaling, which gives you quality sleep. Do you want to give us a little more on this one?
Yeah, the thing that's amazing with sleep is that sometimes it really doesn't matter how long you sleep, but remember, it matters how well you sleep. And this corn grass extract actually helps improve your sleep efficiency. So even if you're sleeping 6 to 7 hours, you're going to be getting more sleep in that deep and REM sleep, level 3 and level 4 sleep, which is more restorative than maybe some people who are not using the supplement that might be sleeping 8, 9, 10 hours. If it helps me awake refreshed, which I think is a big deal. And it helps me get out of bed earlier without the battle. So if I'm getting up at 5 or 5:15, I find that I'm waking and getting up as opposed to dragging out of bed, which is what I used to do. So I love it.
It doesn't sedate you at all. So it's even possible to take it during the day if you need that serotonin signaling boost.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I use it with some people that are still struggling with anxiety during the day as kind of an additional tool to get some very specific results, because it is going to increase your serotonin production within the system.
Yep. All right. This is one of your favorites, so I'm going to let
you. It is. This is what I know. I know the body works better when we feed it well. I also know that it's very hard to do that through nutrition alone. So as we're talking, or through food alone. So as we talk about the supplements that fill the gap, the VitaGBX is one of the, I think it's just an essential. It's going to give us all those micronutrients, the minerals, the vitamins that we need to kind of fill that gap that we're not getting from our food. And it also has something in it called the Bright Mind Blend, which I know Deirdre is a big fan of.
That's what I love, because I don't think as much about the nutrients and the minerals and all that, but I love the improved concentration, attention, and alertness.
Yeah, it's
and I love the mental focus.
If you really want to accelerate your results, this is a product that I would encourage you to consider. It just amplifies